If you're wondering if the trading advice that you hear on TikTok, is it any good? Is it horrible? That's what I'm going to be breaking down in this video. So my name is Alex Monahan. I graduated from Stanford, if you're new to this channel, with a degree in math. Before entering the world of trading, I've worked at places like Cantor Fitzgerald, Morgan Stanley investment banks, as well as Susquehanna International Group, which is one of the top trading firms. So I don't know everything, but I do know a lot about trading. And the purpose of this video is to kind of go through, I'm sure there will be some good advice, maybe even some great advice, but there will also probably be some horrible trading advice on TikTok. So in this video, I'm just going to go through a bunch of TikToks about trading strategies, trading advice, and basically break down my opinion on it. So without further ado, let's get into the first clip. So we're going to get into the first TikTok. If you like this type of content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Comment, what other videos you want me to do. I love sports betting. I love trading. But what I was going to say is I have not seen these TikToks. I just searched trading strategies, trading advice into TikTok. I downloaded a bunch of the popular ones, and I'm going to be going through them. I did speed up the TikToks, though, to 1.5x speed. These videos sometimes get a little long, so I'm trying to speed up the TikToks a little bit.
Traders don't take enough breaks. They feel like they have to be there. I'm a trader, I must trade. No, you're a performer, you're an athlete. Think of yourself that way. You don't get paid a salary.
Why trading is really, really hard. Like, why is it actually that difficult to make money? It's not psychology, it's not discipline. The hardest part is actually finding an edge.
The way that I think about trading is, if you can do it right, you can make more than a doctor, lawyer, and engineer combined. To be able to make more money than these people, you have to be at least willing to invest a couple of years into it. I made a surge in salary in one day.
As traders, we have no idea what's going to happen next. I certainly have no crystal ball. I don't know what's going to happen next. So all you can do, as you said, is find an edge. And then when you find that edge, it's your job to execute the trade.
So that first TikTok, it was kind of high level advice. For example, the first guy's talking about, oh, you should be taking breaks. And I will say, as a trader, there are some days. I was trading during COVID. I was a quantitative trader at Susquehanna International Group. I had airline ETFs, and I was trading derivative products, calls and puts. There are some days where the market's crazy. There's a ton of mispricings, and there's a ton of opportunity. So during those days, the phone would be going crazy. There would be a ton of trading volume. You really need to lock in. Whereas there's other times, kind of as he mentioned, where there's just not a lot of trading volume. If it's the summer, not a lot of new information in markets, there's no earnings reports, there's just not a lot going on. So those days, I wouldn't make as many trades. I'm never going to force a trade. As a trader, we're always looking, for edges. And if there's no edges in the market, I'm not going to force trades. So I do kind of agree with that. As a trader, you're an athlete, right? Some days are going to be super busy. It's going to be very high stress and you need to perform at a high level. Other days, there's not a ton of opportunity. There's not a ton going on. The second guy mentioned the hardest part of trading is getting an edge. And that is completely true. So when I was working at Susquehanna International Group, I was a market maker, and 99%, over 99% of day traders on Robinhood, Fidelity, all these different online brokerage accounts are gonna lose money long term, right? It's not just about putting in trades, putting in the work. What you really need to step back and think about is, do I actually have an edge? Getting an edge in financial markets isn't easy. There's a lot of hedge funds. There's a lot of competition. So long story short, the hardest part is getting an edge. So if you're looking to start trading, what I would recommend doing is watch a ton of videos on the math behind trading. Make sure you really understand everything before you risk any of your own money. So, the last points, as a trader, you can make more than a surgeon. I guess that's true. And the final guy mentioned, you never know what's going to happen next. And that's completely true. When I was trading at Susquehanna, one thing they instilled in us is you need to know your downside. So, for example, I was always thinking about, nobody knows what's going to happen. We could have another COVID hit, right? There could be crazy things happen in the world all the time, and you can't just lose $1 billion because the stock market goes down. You always need to be considering your risk, especially if you're trading derivatives like calls and puts. You need to understand what's what happens, right? Like what happens if the stock goes up 20% or down 20%? How much money am I set to make or to lose? Because you'll see a lot of people start trading derivatives, calls and puts. They don't fully understand what's going on. They'll sell call options, sell put options. Next thing you know, they're down millions of dollars and they're in debt. So you really need to understand your risk. Like as a trader, every morning before the market opened, I understood, how much risk do I have? What happens if Nvidia goes up 20%? What about down 20%? How much money am I making or losing? Because again, you can't go bankrupt as a trader. And if you're selling derivatives, calls and puts, you got to be very, very careful and fully understand your risk.
I turned $26 into $26,000 in 2 months, and I only learned how to trade in 2 days. I think 2 might be my lucky number. I'm gonna show you exactly how I did it, so stay tuned. You're not gonna wanna miss this video. All right, let's get into it. So a lot of you won't believe this, but I actually learned how to trade in only 2 days. So yes, it's possible. And I know a lot of you probably say, Kelly, how long will it take me? Well, it depends on you, but I'm gonna tell you what I did to learn how to trade in exactly 2 days. And when I first traded, I turned $26 to $400 my first trade. $26 to $400 my first.
Okay, so I'm going to cut the video off there. Anybody who claims you can learn how to trade, how to get an edge in 2 days is full of crap. Like, I really hope you don't walk away from this video thinking, here's the strategy that I need to do to become super rich. It's not true. When I started trading at Susquehanna, they spent over a year training you in the deep math, right? All the gammas for call, puts, gamma, delta, vega, all the different Greeks. There's so much you have to learn as a new trader to even stand a chance at becoming profitable. So anybody saying you can learn how to trade in 2 days, it's absolutely BS. It's absolutely BS. Trading is much more complicated. If you want to get an edge and make money long term, you want to beat out the top hedge funds, you're going to have to put in a lot more work than just 2 days. Literally at SIG, they spent years training you on the math behind trading, everything you need to know to set us up to be profitable traders long term. The second thing I want to mention is, do I think it's a lie that she turned $26 into $400 on her first trade? I mean, probably not. Like, she may have. I don't know. I don't know anything about her. She seems super nice, so I by no means mean to say that, you can't turn $26 into $400 on your first trade, but like, who cares? A lot of people get glued to instant gratification. For example, if I buy a stock, guess what? It has roughly a 50% chance of going up from where I bought it and roughly a 50% chance of going down. So if I buy a stock, that's my first trade, and that stock goes up, I may think I'm really smart, but really, I just flipped the coin and it managed to show up on heads. I don't actually have an edge. I just got lucky. So at SIG, again, they spend literally years training you on the math behind trading before you're even allowed to make one trade with the firm's money, because they want you to be prepared. They want you to be an expert. So anybody claiming, hey, you can learn trading in 2 days, that's not true. It's not true, okay? Not at all. You can learn investing in 2 days. I said this in the previous video. There's a difference between trading, short-term trading, market making, things like that, and investing for the long term. If you're saving money from your job and you want to invest that money, it's pretty easy. Buy a mutual fund, buy the S&P 500, buy the NASDAQ, Qs, whatever. And then just let your money sit there. Some days it'll go up, some days it will go down. But over the course of the long run, the stock market has returned about 10%. Trading is not that simple. Trading is a lot different from investing. If you want to make money day trading, it's a long journey. There's a lot to learn, and it may even take years before you're profitable. So in my opinion, if you're starting to trade, first of all, don't trade. Don't even trade yet. You should spend, a bunch of time, ideally trying to get a job at a trading firm so you can learn from experts, but at least spend time watching YouTube videos. Watch every possible video on, trading. A lot of people they're going to be trying to sell you on things. The purpose of this video is I know a lot of people lose money day trading. A lot of people listen to BS out there. So hopefully this video helps some people. There's a lot of BS. A lot of people are trying to sell you something. But spend a bunch of time learning. And then when you start trading, trade very small, right? You should not start trading a lot of money. You want to make sure over the course of, 3 months, 6 months, you're actually getting a positive ROI with your strategy before you start to ramp it up and gamble even more of your money. Anyways, long story short, that video, learning to trade in 2 days, it's just not going to happen. I'm sorry. I know people love to get rich quick. Everyone thinks you can just learn things so easily. You're not going to learn how to trade in 2 days. At least you're not going to learn how to trade well and actually get an edge in financial markets, the most efficient markets, over the course of 2 days. It's total BS.
Mistakes made by the 80% of traders that don't make money.
Believing all the bullshit in the market. So again, we're back to this conflict of interest. A lot of either bad people or people who are incentivized in the wrong way will either tell you lies or they don't know certain situations occur and they're just doing their job, but they're just a bit stupid. Yeah, will tell you things that you want to hear all the time. What people want to hear about trading is that everyone can do it. It's easy, and you can make $10,000 a month trading the international forex markets if you follow this line on a chart. Yeah, complete nonsense. So a lot of these people with conflict of interest will tell you that stuff, but it's obviously a lot more difficult than that. The trading can be straightforward, but you've got to take an approach where you've almost got to be a little bit very cynical and a little bit angry at the world, because the rest of the world is there to take your money, right? So if you're a bit cynical and a bit angry, it's a good basis to start trading, because you're going to question everything, every method, every system, every objective of individuals. You're going to question everything. That's a very good basis in life anyway, but especially in trading. So I think the reason why most people lose money is because they're probably too trusting. What's the experience of people when they begin trading and they've never done it before? Sit down on their computer at home, type into Google, learn how to trade. What comes up first? Well, on the SEO, on the left-hand side of Google, it's all brokers, and they've all got a conflict of interest. And on the right-hand side, you've got paid search, where people are paying for you to click on that. Why? Because a certain percentage of people who click on that pay them enough money that they can do it again. Right? So you've got to be careful. You're not going to learn how to trade by going onto Google, typing in learning how to trade and going on 20 courses, 20 free seminars. What you're going to learn is a load of rubbish that will never make you money. And then everybody goes and puts money in their trading account and blows up, and they wonder why. And then they sit there for a year, save up some more money, and then do it again. And they never actually seek out a proper education. So that's why people are taught things like people are told what they want to hear, but also the assets that people tell you to trade and how they tell you to trade them is actually the reverse of what professional traders do. So someone somewhere within that company, probably the big boss, is making sure that that's what everyone is telling everyone to do.
So that was incredibly good trading advice. I couldn't have said it better myself. So I did a little research into the guy who's speaking in front of the class. He's a pretty well-known trader. He used to be a trader at Goldman Sachs, and he was spot on, right? When you look up how to trade, when you type that into Google, there's two things that are going to come up. Basically, number one, people trying to sell you a course, right? They're trying to make money off you. How to trade, how to get rich quick, right? You're either paying people for a course, or it's the online brokerages like Fidelity and Robinhood that are incentivized. These platforms, they want more trading volume. However, I think what he says is very true. As a trader, most information on the internet is way too simple and it's absolute BS. You need to be very cynical. Trading is about being very rational and being very smart. You're not going to make money exactly as he says. You're not going to be able to make $10,000 a month trading Forex, just following some simple charts. That's absolute BS. Learning how to trade, you need the right education. And honestly, there's a ton to learn. Most people are lazy. Most people don't want to do that, which is why most trading videos on the internet are how to turn, $10,000 into $200,000 in 1 month with my simple strategy, buy my, ebook. So overall, I think that was an amazing video. People are way too trusting. There's a ton of information on the internet. Most of it is from people with 1, bad intentions, or 2, who just are clueless. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't necessarily have bad intentions. Maybe they're not trying to sell you something, but their education is way too surface level. So long story short, that was super good advice. I couldn't have said it better myself.
All you need is this one candle to make consistent profits in the market. It's super beginner friendly, requires no buys, and sets up every single day. The first thing you want to do is mark out the high and low of the first opening candle of New York session. This can be on any time frame. Then what we want to do is wait for a break above your opening candle, retest, and a continuation towards the upside, or we want to wait for a break below your opening candle, retest, and a continuation towards the downside. As you can see, we have the first candle here marked out of New York session open. Now what we're going to be doing is waiting for a retest for a continuation towards the upside, or a break underneath and a continuation towards the downside. As you can see, we're breaking above your opening range candle. Now we're going to be looking for the retest for that continued push back towards the upside. So this is where we can look to take entries long with a stop just a break below, and we're going to look to target a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio. And just like that, we're able to capture this nice move towards the upside.
So I'm not going to lie. I mean, again, not trying to brag, but I worked at some of the top trading firms, the top investment banks, and candlestick strategy, it's crazy. Like when you're a trader at a top firm, they basically tell you people looking at candlesticks are completely clueless. They do complicated things, but they're saying nothing. And that's exactly the case here. This guy's claiming you can win every single day following this strategy. Obviously, that's not true, or everyone in the world would do it. And if this strategy actually had an edge, a hedge fund would already have an algorithm doing this strategy every single day, and the edge would, get eliminated from the market because somebody else is taking advantage of it. Long story short, candlestick strategy, like you should not be spending that much time. Again, at least from my experience working at top trading firms like SIG, like Morgan Stanley, basically people using candlesticks were considered clueless. So long story short, again, I'm not saying I know everything. Maybe there's someone out there actually making money with candlesticks, but this is way too simple of a strategy. You're not going to win every day. This guy's saying a bunch of complicated things, but he's not actually giving you a strategy that's going to work and make money long term, and he's trying to sell you on something. So if you go to his YouTube channel, he's trying to sell you on his trading Discord, his trading course, because a lot of people will say things like, oh, if this strategy doesn't make money, why would he lie? And it's like, why do you think he's lying? He's trying to sell you his trading course. So he's going to say it makes money every single day. When it doesn't, there's actually no edge in this, and it's way too simple. And long story short, candlesticks are, in general, BS. Okay? Like, in general, complete BS. In my time as a quant trader at SIG, the amount of time I spent focused on candlesticks or learning about them was next to nothing. That's not the way that you're going to make money trading. So if you're trying to become a great day trader, you're trying to make money trading, I have 2 tips for you, okay? 2 very basic tips. The first thing is remember that 99.9% of people are gonna lose money day trading long term. Obviously, everyone can show off a winning day. The hard part is making money consistently year after year, and you just have to remember most of the advice on the internet is gonna be horrible. It's not actually gonna have an edge. Most people are going to be trying to sell you something, whether it's their trading course, their trading picks, whatever it is. 99% of it is horrible advice. So just make sure you know that kind of going into it. Second thing I wanted to mention is if you're looking to become a day trader, what I'd really recommend is take a job at a trading firm, even just an internship. If you want to go out on your own and start trading, that's great. I love the entrepreneurial spirit, stuff like that. But take a job at a place like Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, Citibank. Granted, it's kind of hard to do. You got to prep for interviews, all that sort of stuff. But it's going to be the best real world experience. You'll get to learn from expert traders, right? Like, what's better than learning how to trade options at Goldman Sachs from one of the top options traders, in the world, who's probably making millions and millions of dollars a year market making options. You can learn from that person before ultimately going out on your own and becoming a day trader. So try to get some real world experience. That is my take, right? Like, I love trading. I love gambling. However, I didn't graduate from college and just start trading my own money. I wanted a full-time job, a stable income, and I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn from experts, people working at top trading firms who have been doing this 5, 10 years or more, right? And I thought that was super valuable. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into the next tech talk.
All you need to become a profitable trader is one strategy, one asset class, and one trade a day. I see too many of you trying to trade Bitcoin in 10 different forex pairs and 3 different strategies. It's not going to work, guys. Your brain will do its best when it can find consistency, meaning waking up every single day, looking at the same ticker, taking the same kind of trades, and using one strategy. When you do this, your brain will start to pick up on patterns, which will give you a much better idea of what the market's going to do next, allowing you to make a ton more money consistently. Now, I know that finding a profitable strategy is not easy, so I'm just going to give you mine so you can get a head start. So DM me the word strategy, and I'll send it to you right now for free.
So what a surprise. Another guy, he's trying to sell a course or something like that. Basically what he said is all you got to do is follow one strategy, make one trade a day, and that's BS. In my experience, when I was a quantitative trader, I'm going to keep going back to my experience, all trades have a small edge. You're never going to find a trade where you're able to buy something at $10 that actually should be $15. That's not going to happen. These edges are very small, so the power comes from numbers. When I was a quant trader at SIG, A lot of my trading was done algorithmically. I was writing computer programs that made these trades. I was making tens of thousands of trades every single day. Every trade had a small edge. And, long term, I was hoping to make money for the firm. One trade a day is BS. One asset class, one strategy, that also isn't great advice. When I was trading at SIG, I was trading a bunch of different products. Sometimes there's opportunity in airlines. I traded airline ETFs like jets. Sometimes, like during COVID, I explained earlier, when airline stocks were super volatile, there was a ton of opportunity to make money trading airlines. Other times, there was more opportunity in crypto or things like that. So the more things you trade, the more surface area, you got to cover, but it also means more opportunity. The same strategies that, oftentimes are going to make money trading one product will also make money trading another product. The next thing is one strategy. Again, like strategies are going to come and go. You always have to be looking for new edges, for new ways to get an edge and make money. There's no strategy that's been around forever that's just going to make money, aside from like investing your money. There's a difference, I want to be clear, between trading and investing, right? Like basically everybody, if you have savings, you should be investing at least some of your money. Put it in the stock market. Put it in the S&P 500, let it compound and grow, over time. Obviously, there's tons of investing advice on the internet, but the stock market historically has returned roughly 10% a year. Obviously, some years like 2008, 2009, it's going to go down, but over the course of the long run, you should make money. Trading and investing are very different. Investing means locking your money up, for the long haul and hoping to get that compounding effect. So I put a lot, of my savings in the S&P 500, in the NASDAQ. That's very different from trading. I'm just buying and holding. Trading, so for investing, you can have one strategy. Put your money in mutual funds, ETFs, big ETFs like the S&P 500, VOO, SPY, and just let it build. That's very different from trading, right? Trading is buying, selling, shorter term positions. It's very different from investing, and one strategy absolutely does not work. When I was a trader at SIG, there were strategies that were super profitable during COVID that no longer are super profitable because the markets are much different. Dynamics have changed, or the edges have gone away, right? Like markets are always adapting. If there's opportunity to make money in something, and you're doing it consistently, there's a good chance at some point other people are going to find out about this strategy, this opportunity. They're going to take advantage of that same strategy. The edge goes away, or it becomes much harder and not worth the time, and you have to find a new strategy, a new way to make money. Anyways, kind of rambled on, but hopefully that was a little bit helpful with regards to this specific video, which said one trade a day, one asset class, one strategy. That is absolutely not true. That works for investing. Buy the S&P 500, buy a mutual fund, leave your money for 10, 20 years, check up on it afterwards. I can almost guarantee you, you're going to have more money than you did before. But for trading, that doesn't hold any weight whatsoever. So that was not good advice.
Bro, literally the easiest way to start making more money with trading or with crypto or with whatever market you're in is to just stop looking at your P&L. The reason you're not making money is not because you don't know the strategy, or it's not because you don't know the actual skill, but it's just because your mind fucks you every time you look at your P&L, and it makes you make irrational decisions. When it comes to my crypto wallet specifically, I make sure not to even have my wallet on my phone because I know I would be checking that literally all day, every day, and it would make me overthink and make some irrational decision. So instead, I just have it on my computer. It's harder for me to check it, and I just trust my conviction, and I end up making more money. And if you're in trading, there's an option on your brokerage to actually hide your P&L so you don't have it right in front of your eyes. So you should just not look at your P&L, use the charts, use technical analysis, use whatever, and you will just end up making more money instantly.
So basically his advice was, as a trader, you want to be super logical, you want to be super rational as a trader, which is, by the way, that's completely true. Like as a trader, there are no emotions. You want to be very logical, very quantitative, very data driven. However, not checking your P&L is literally crazy. That is crazy. Every single day when I left Susquehanna, I had to write a recap. Hey, here's how I did today. Here was my profit and loss. Here are things I learned. Here's my risk. All sorts of stuff like that. You always need to know your performance, right? Like you need to know your performance, and I guess some of it is, I guess it depends on the time scale. But as a trader, it's obviously important to know your performance. So I don't completely agree with that, but let's get into the next TikTok.
I think anyone starting trading is going to lose money for several years. You know, you're looking for a career that pays a lot of money. Everyone trading wants to make a lot of money. You're competing against extremely smart people, and it's essentially a zero-sum game. So you're trying to take money from really, really smart people who are trying to take money from you. And when you start out, they're going to win. You're going to lose money. If you have the discipline, and you're careful, and you learn how to be objective, and you try not to be greedy, and you use stops to use profit targets, I believe it's something that you can do.
So that, I think, was very good advice. If you're starting to trade, it's a zero-sum game. Trading is a zero-sum game. So whenever you hear these gurus online, yo, just follow this little chart, you'll make money trading every single day. Like, trading is a zero-sum game. If you're doing that strategy, you're taking away the opportunity from somebody else. Right? There's not unlimited liquidity available in the market. It's a zero-sum game. So long story short, as a trader, you constantly have to be evolving, finding new strategies, finding new ways to get an edge because, you know, trading strategies that worked 30 years ago, they're not working nowadays. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, if you enjoy this type of content, you know, please comment any questions, like, subscribe, and let me know video ideas. I mean, I love making trading content, sports betting content, whatever other video ideas you have, I would love to hear them. So let me know in the comments. Again, thanks so much for your time, guys.